This is Monica. Monica is a single mom of two, making just enough to get by. After an untimely car accident, she needs to get her front bumper repaired so she could drive to work. Even with her two jobs, she cannot afford this unexpected expense. She doesn't have a credit card and is afraid of predatory payday loans. What is Monica to do? Unfortunately, Monica is not alone. 68 million Americans have no credit or bad credit. 47% of Americans cannot even afford $400 unexpected expense. This is a $24 billion market for short-term loans, and many of them are predatory.
In the United States, subprime borrowers lack the same access to credit that many of us enjoy in our daily lives. It is extremely difficult for these borrowers to access financial services, such as bank loans and credit cards, that allow us to have the financial flexibility to support our families, to enjoy vacations, and live the lives that we want to live. These underserved individuals are at a much greater risk for going bankrupt, for struggling with medical payments, and suffering from daily inconveniences and unexpected occurrences, such as Monica's untimely car accident. What happens as a result of this is there's an unsavory and often predatory subprime lending market which preys upon these borrowers who are just looking to get by. Institutions such as payday lenders will offer APRs as high as 700% to these individuals who just need a little bit of money to get through the month until that next paycheck. While these lending institutions are unsavory, regulation has come into play which has reduced the amount of these lending. And while this has helped prevent people from falling victim to that vicious debt cycle, it has unfortunately left people underserved in their ability to get credit. So from both sides, people with subprime credit are at risk. We are Phoenix Funds, and we are here to provide fair loans for those who need them most. Whereas a traditional payday or short-term lending institution seeks to extract as much money from their borrowers as possible, trapping them in a vicious cycle of debt that is extremely difficult to get out of, our business is built upon providing sustainability in an ecosystem where we give borrowers the money that they need in order to stabilize their financial situation instead of destabilizing it. This is built upon leveraging large institutional funds such as university endowment funds and pension funds that are increasingly looking for socially responsible investment causes to commit themselves to. We will promise them steady, safe returns in a way that is socially responsible and beneficial to our subprime borrowing demographic. This is done through our easy-to-use mobile application and web interface that allows individuals looking for fast cash to get it without having to worry about the long-term consequences. We are passionate about creating an experience for our users that makes them feel safe and comfortable. Too often, people are subject to unsavory and dangerous financial transactions that they need just to get by. But we are we care about creating a brand and a service that is there to lend a hand and help those in need. We want to create a service that people are going to be able to use and recommend to their friends. This is vital for our growth strategy. Our market size is based on the total payday loan market in the United States. And while this data is incomplete, given the inability of payday loans to operate in states with restrictive financial regulations, we believe that roughly 12 million consumers are looking for a solution such as ours to alleviate their financial distress. This market amounts to a $6 billion market, and we believe we can provide the best service out there. To begin tapping this market, we want to start in the state of Massachusetts. Not only are we here and have support from institutions like Tufts, as well as the many other universities in the area, but this market also is limited in the amount of short-term credit options available. By tapping into this market, we can demonstrate the success of our product and set the scale for long-term expansion. Our product is the only product available that will place emphasis both on the user's long-term financial needs and their immediate need for cash. Our low APR rates, our nationwide availability, and our commitment to helping users have the flexibility that they need will enable us to shine through all the other options available.
So our business model is designed around lowering our costs and then transferring these lower costs to our customers. A typical $375 payday loan incurs about $52 in costs, and most of that cost is made up of operating expenses. These operating expenses, the majority of them, are both rent and corporate overhead. So by operating as an online installment loan platform, we reduce the rent, basically eliminate it, and also reduce our corporate overhead expenses. And the idea is that by scaling our portfolio and scaling our revenue, our total cost per loan goes down over time, as you can see on the right chart, and then our profitability actually increases over time. So what's our plan? Our first year, we want to launch our pilot lending program, which is just going to be in the state of Massachusetts. We hope to acquire approximately 1,000 borrowers, which results to be about 0.5% of the total market in Massachusetts. In year 2, we plan to reach out to institutional investors, the Harvard endowment funds, the Vanguard pension funds of the world, and try to get them to either lend to us or give us fund deposits, which will increase our lending portfolio and allow us to reach more customers. Our goal at the end of year 2 is to reach approximately 10,000 customers in Massachusetts, equating to about 5% of the Massachusetts market. In year 3, we plan to continue this portfolio expansion and expand to the rest of the Northeast. There's plenty of criminally underserved states such as Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, and the Northeast that don't have these options that we're providing in Massachusetts, and we want to serve them as well. Our goal at the end of this year is to reach approximately 30,000 customers and continue growing. In year 4 and onward, we want to continue that expansion, keep growing that portfolio, and our goal by the end of year 5 is to hopefully acquire 125,000 borrowers, leading to approximately 250,000 loans granted per year, and net income of about 1.5 million. So why us and why now? We're an international, interdisciplinary team with many different backgrounds and experiences. Pasilat grew up in Western China and saw a first-hand experience of what happens to low-income households when they can't afford to pay their electric bill, can't afford to put food on the table for their children. She's also a marketing guru and is the right person to get this product out there to her customers. Now, every scalable business needs efficient operations to continue growth. And that's where Brennan McNamee comes in. He spent years at a multinational conglomerate, GE, and is the right person to grow us from level 1 to level 100. The core of our business is centered around the user experience and developing that trust between us as the lender and our customers who are the borrowers. And we think the core of that is in the user experience that they use as they go throughout the loan experience. So Zach Sager, who was a human factors graduate from Tufts, is going to be leading our user interface, user design team, and just maximizing the enjoyment and limiting the stress that our users have to take out a personal loan. I myself have a financial background. I spent a few years in the wealth management and 401k sectors. So I'll be handling all the financials, making sure that our bottom line stays where it should be. And I've seen firsthand what excessive fees can do to these 401k and wealth management accounts. And I can tell you that the damages that these high interest short-term loans do to these families is 10x whatever it is that damages these 401k accounts. So as you can see, we have a broad range of experiences and specialties, but we believe that we're the right team to move forward with this company. So why now? As you saw earlier, there's 12 million people every year taking out these predatory loans. 12 million people being screwed over by lenders and losing money and paying too much on interest. And it has to stop. It can't go on any longer. So we're asking for $500,000 in return for 20% of our company. This $500,000 will go towards our first year pilot lending program, as well as marketing costs to get us off the ground, and a website and application design. So, you might ask, why help Phoenix Funds? Because the time is now. We need to be able to get out there and give fair loans to these people, provide accessible and easy to use loans, and end this madness that's going on in the payday market. The time to act is now, and the company to act on is us. Thank you. Questions?
Can we start with questions?
Yes.
Can you take us through just the unit economic model? So one loan, delinquency expectation, cost of borrowing, cost of return on for the depositor?
Yep, so let me just walk you through this here. So typical revenue, we're going to be charging 10.5% per loan. So that's going to result, if we're giving out an average of $375 loans, that's approximately $39 per loan. The cost of sales for that is cost of bad debt, which is the loans, us lose the loans, people don't pay the loans back, what have you. That's approximately 3.5% of the loan. So that amounts to about $13 per $375 loan. We also have a cost of capital and a credit check of 50 cents. That adds up to approximately a cost of sales of $16.50. So you're taking that $16.50 out of the $39 we're getting in revenue. That's approximately $23. We have a 58% gross margin. And then our operating costs are obviously marketing, web design, legal expenses, and rent for our
What's
small.
the depositor receiving?
So
Or your Harvards and...
exactly. So that's the model for year one. For year two, we're trying to promise depositors 5 to 7% returns on their investment. And what that's going to do is obviously cut out of our net income. What you'll see, so if a depositor has a $4 million deposit with us, they're getting 5% returns, we're paying them $200,000. That's cutting out of the net income right here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an EBIT of approximately $255, pay the interest, our net income is approximately $38,000. What you see as our revenue starts to scale up, that net income line increases significantly. By year 5, we have $1.2 million in net income.
Can I ask you how you get to the 3.5% default? Is that industry average now?
That's industry average, yes.
Okay.
So ours, we actually believe, we can predict it could go down over time as we get more accurate with our loans.
Even with these high risk
Yep, that's the industry average for high-risk loans.
over high?
Yes.
This is based on an MSIM study from 2012, I believe. And we, by backing our system with a machine learning backing, we'll be able to, over time, collect more and more data, and that will let us decrease the amount of bad debt costs that we're subjected to.
Can I come back? You have 2 customers,
Yep.
right? The harder one's the deposit. How are you thinking about marketing to them? What's your cost of acquisition? What's your cost of acquisition for those depositors? How do you track them? 5% is not much for Harvard.
And we're scaling up to 7% by year 5.
which is still not much for the Harvard endowment. For the return they're looking
Yeah.
for.
So the biggest draw for them to our service, besides the steady returns, is the fact that it is a socially responsible investment. There's been a steady increase, actually a very rapid increase over the past few years in the amount of capital that's being committed to socially responsible investments. I think as people understand and begin to see the marketing benefits of these investments, with even a bit of a smaller return, they can still make up for that in the long run as their social capital and marketing benefits.
Sorry, I was talking more about your customer acquisition cost and how you actually target it and get the money.
Like from the,
Harvard endowments and such, those are not easy.
We gotta hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of hustling, a lot of phone calls, making connections.
Also, because we will have some testimonial after year 1, so we will have the proof to show that.
I guess year 1 is our proof of concept. This is a business that can make money. We show that to these endowment funds. We show if you give us this much money, we can expand our business and give you these returns. That's our pitch. And then the social investment side, obviously.
I comment on the presentation was very good in terms of market need, which is solution like, but this is a financial business.
Yeah.
And I would have thought the heart of the presentation is micro detail on the size of the loan, the length of the loan, the default rate, the distribution of default rates. As in a business that involves cell phones, nobody defaults on a cell phone. They don't want to lose it. On other car loans, default terrible. And so, and then your case of, I forget her name, but the single mother who had 2 jobs and couldn't pay the $400. There are a lot of those cases, but what breaks in the cycle that you can pay back your loan because usually something else breaks? Right now, I was surprised that the industry average is as low as it is, but there had been some scrutiny too. The financial business, you gotta nail it, or everybody's gonna think this is a nice idea.
So one of the reasons the industry average is so low is that people actually, they default. I think the industry average is around 15% default rate, but when they default, they take out another loan to pay back that loan. So it's not considered a bad debt, it's considered collected. So they get in that cycle where they keep taking out those loans.
But you have to model that if you're gonna be.
Yeah,
if you're
and our idea that these loans are like 14 days. So our idea is that we give a 6-month installment loan. The rate of them defaulting on a 6-month installment loan should go down. Easier pay to say.
So I commend you guys on tackling a big issue and identifying an unmet need here and trying to create a creative way to solve for it. I think what was interesting for me is that you started building empathy and then immediately changed from that person into the business model, which I understand, but I felt in that we lost a little bit of who that user was and what they need. And while this is giving them something at the point that they need it, I almost wonder, so if you're going to have low overhead, you're going to have some mobile platform out there. What else can you build into that experience or service for that person that might help them understand then how to build credit or get out of a situation where they need to do this again? That, to me, if you really want to solve for that group, yes, you can do it in the immediate, but what's the long-term help that you can provide? And then you start thinking, boy, they're low-cost premium services as a result of this, $5 or $10 here, that suddenly get somebody more value from you, and you're also getting money without the risk of them defaulting the loan. That would be interesting to me.
Actually, we had this plans in our future vision, so we could develop our AI system to predict their expense, so we could give appropriate expense advice for them to cut off some of their unnecessary expense to save some money on their accounts. By this service, also we are providing direct service to give them some financial health advices.
So your question, or your statement about them, their poor credit, one of the issues with payday loans is that because there's a lump sum, it actually doesn't build credit. But our solution of installment loans over time, credit companies, Equifax, all the other ones, want to see that you can pay your credit back over time in a number of payments. So that our solution of doing installment loans where you're paying a small amount of loan every month would actually be able to be submitted to Equifax and build their credit?
To be able to submit the data set to Equifax, you need a constant flow of data first, a number of accounts each month and each year. So that'll be further into our plans rather than start off right away.
So maybe we touch on that more, explaining how this solution would actually build these people, build their credit, get them out of
I
this.
think you're gonna start so strong with building it, bring it back to that.
Okay.
So have you had conversations with the fund managers of the endowment in terms of how important giving back is and whether or not they would be open to this? Or is their primary criteria the return? And if so, what returns are they using?
We've mostly been limited to published literature concerning these funds. We've been exploring different avenues to generate the financial backing of the platform, and we've only recently come upon this idea, and we're still experimenting and exploring the effectiveness of it, but we see it as a potentially very valuable core component of the company.
More questions? So one last question? Okay, thank you very much.